Hello, I'm Janessa. Welcome to my channel. On this channel, I love to do reaction videos as a health coach for what I eat in a day videos and a variety of other topics. But today it's going to be a what I eat in the day video from Sanne Vloet. And it is one of her latest videos called What I Eat in a Day to Build Lean Muscle. So we're gonna dig into this. I was immediately intrigued by the title for this video because it specifically said to build lean muscle. And as a health coach and also someone with a background in athletics, I also really appreciate the work that goes in to not only improve our nutrition, but specifically try to increase our muscle mass. There are many benefits to that, health benefits, not just for our current state and current goals, but also for as we age and our longevity. And we also sometimes have some aesthetic goals with that as well. So we're gonna look at this video today. I'm gonna offer up some of my own reactions because as a health coach, my goal with my clients is helping them get in touch with their sense of inner wisdom and their own truth around what their body needs. So my intention with these videos, these reaction videos, is to highlight what influencers are doing well, as well as potentially some areas where what they're doing may not fit everyone. So it can give you some ideas around what you would like to experiment with next. So without further ado, let's watch Sanne Vloet's video. I'm sharing my screen so you can see Sanne's video here, and hopefully the audio will turn out okay. I've had to experiment with a couple different settings on my recording software, so let me know what you think. I do believe that this is a short enough video. It's only about 14 minutes, so I don't think we'll necessarily need to go at a faster speed in the replay, but I might skip over a couple parts. We'll see. We'll get into it. And before we actually press play, I do like to look at the video title, also the description, see what Sanne's promoting here, because when we're consuming content, whether it's on YouTube or Instagram or other social media platforms, I think it's helpful to remind ourselves of the influencer model, because it is really cool, in my opinion, that people can create content, be creative in the world, share their passions, and also find different ways to monetize that. And it's also important to keep in mind that whenever we have monetization involved, there are going to be different interests at play, influences, because money is exchanging hands. And I know we all know that, we're all aware of that when we engage with social media, but sometimes it's a helpful little reminder that if an influencer is using a product or talking about a product, it may be because they are actually receiving monetary support to do so. So let's see what Sanne's about. She does have a lot of subscribers, 1.87 million subscribers. In full transparency, I don't know much about her or her story. I like to come into these reaction videos a little fresh and not necessarily have a preconceived notion about who they are or what they do, and just react specifically to the content they're putting out. So once again, what I eat in a day to build lean muscle. And here we go. Thank you, Ritual, for sponsoring today's video. So at least it's transparent. Sanne's offering a code for 25% off. I also believe up here, usually, or sometimes when we press play, we'll see if it's there, but there might be a little notification saying that there is paid promotion as part of this video. And Sanne writes here about her nutrition, how it's been helpful to feel balanced and supportive. And a lot of that comes from the nourishment she's giving herself. Okay, and here we go. She says, I am pairing this meal plan. So it's a meal plan specifically we're gonna get into, awesome, with the 30-day Power Pilates to really get back into my routine this September. So interesting. As I said, I was really intrigued by the title for this because she specifically uses the phrase build lean muscle, which I think is a very strong search term. But here's the thing, whenever we say build lean muscle, it's not just about what we eat. It's also about our exercise and whether or not we're giving our bodies adequate stimulus through that exercise, often through some form of strength training, to literally break down and then rebuild and adapt. That at a very, very simple level is a description of the muscle building process. So I wonder what this Power Pilates program is like. Depending on the individual, that might provide enough stimulus for someone to build lean muscle. Often I also find though people need something a little bit more robust and specifically strength training, whether that's with dumbbells or barbells or whatever kind of strength training you're doing. So I just want to call that out too. And it looks like Sanne's also including some links to products she likes. Okay, so everything's really beautifully organized and clear. So I appreciate that when people are very transparent about, here are the things that are monetized, that are connected to some sort of compensation for me. So I think that is a really nice approach. So let's get into the content. Let's see what Sanne's sharing with us in this meal plan, which I'm excited about. And I'll hold my thoughts for a moment, but I will share my thoughts on meal plans as a health coach after we get into this. What I eat in a day. It's already so pretty. Okay, Los Angeles. It's a beautiful kitchen. Wow. I appreciate the music. I did notice that Sanne included matcha links in her description, so she must be a big matcha fan. Drop a comment below, let me know if you enjoy matcha, coffee, other forms of tea. I'm definitely a coffee drinker. I do love coffee. Although I'm open to matcha and trying other things. One of the things that impresses me right away is obviously just the very beautiful, aesthetic, very intentional look to this content. Okay, moment of zen, get ready with me. So we're doing a little morning montage.
Good morning. Welcome back to a new video. I am going to share today what I eat in a day. My name is Sanne, for anyone new here on the channel. I personally love watching these type of videos for others because I'm just always so intrigued what's in people's fridge, what people eat. It always gives me a lot of meal inspo. Today is definitely a little bit of a different what I eat in a day because I am following along on the 30-day high protein meal plan for Soulsing Body. Okay. For anyone new here, Soulsing Body is my fitness and nutrition app. Twice a year we launch kind of a big program and big challenge to really kind of either get back into your routine, to hit through a plateau, and to really like tune in. A meal plan, you guys, it takes away so much of the work of thinking what to eat, what to cook, and all of that. This meal plan I actually created with a registered dietitian, so we really make sure that all the meals are very balanced. The whole meal plan is actually available on the app for all the members, but also we're selling it as an ebook separate. So if you're like, hey, I can't do a membership, I just want to get the meals and I want to follow along on the meal plan, I will link everything down below.
Okay, I want to say I am always, especially with my business background, I'm always interested in people's business models as well, not just what they eat or what they have in their refrigerator, although that tends to intrigue me as well, of course. So it's interesting she's offering this as a one-off. You don't necessarily have to be part of her membership. And one thing that really stood out to me is she said, this meal plan was specifically formulated in partnership with a registered dietitian, which is great because so often meal plans out there, if we just start scoping the interwebs, they're not always the most balanced. They are often based on what works for the person who's created the meal plan, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work the best for you. And to be really clear, because I am a health coach and I adhere to the ethics and the scope of the National Board for Health and Wellness Coaching in the United States, my scope as a health coach does not include providing meal plans for clients, which I actually really appreciate that because I'm not a registered dietitian, and that allows me as a health coach to help my clients really identify what works for them, what they want to experiment with, to take on full ownership and responsibility of that process for themselves. And maybe they are working with a registered dietitian, maybe they're working with their doctor or some other licensed practitioner or professional. And what we then do in our work together is really focus on that behavior change. Because let's say you're working with a registered dietitian, there's a lot of time between those sessions or appointments with a registered dietitian. They might give you a specific plan to follow, but the execution of it is on you. So that's where I can step in as a health coach and just support with greater accountability. But then also for people who are not working with a professional, like let's say you purchased a a meal plan like this one from Sanne. We can work through that process together around accountability and having check-ins to see how is it going. But all my clients are in the driver's seat, so they make their own decisions around what they want to experiment with, what they want to try, and obviously work with higher level practitioners or professionals as needed. Because some people have very specific health conditions that they're dealing with, and so a generic health plan from someone, even if it's this, which sounds like it's very intentionally put together with a registered dietitian, it still may not be the best fit. So that's my little caveat. So let's get into the meals and see what those are.
For me, it was really important to do a high protein meal plan because we're doing this together with a 30-day Power Pilates program, which is incorporating a lot more weights into our Pilates. So the workouts are very challenging, and it's important to fuel your body. I feel I've always been so transparent here on my channel that I have been working on hormone imbalances. So I've been really curating this meal plan with 30 grams of protein per meal, enough fiber for the day, healthy fats, just wholesome, delicious food. It's not wicked magic. It's truly like under 30 minutes, everything is done. So I'm really excited to get into it. This menu today looks so bomb. We're gonna have a spring onion soft scramble. I'm gonna make my breakfast. I usually work out a little early in the morning, but today I actually need to get some work done before. So I'm gonna have my breakfast first. If you have breakfast before or after your workout, it's very much like a personal preference, I feel. Some people have...
Okay, let's pause because there are multiple things going on here I want to touch on. So Sanne did clarify that the Pilates workout program, which I haven't seen, but she describes it as a power Pilates, so it incorporates dumbbells. I'm assuming, which is great, because once again, if we're actually looking to put on more lean muscle, we will need an appropriate level of stimulus for our bodies to do that. And she also mentioned 3 different things that really stood out as far as the nutritional intention for the meal plan. At least 30 grams of protein per meal, which again is very much dependent on the individual, how much protein you want to consume a day, how you feel your best, what you need for your particular conditions or for your goals. And she also mentioned fiber rich and healthy fats. So that makes me very curious. I wonder what those macros work out to. Just because I tend to work with macros, so that's how my brain processes things. But that doesn't mean you have to work with macros, because once again, it really is dependent on who you are. I feel like I repeat that all the time on this channel, and I wonder if it gets a little boring, but at the end of the day, that is the core truth and principle that can be really helpful to hear over and over again. And then Sanne also mentioned whether to eat before or after a workout. That is something that I find with a lot of people you have to experiment with, and it can change too depending on your schedule, what's going on. Some people have very consistent schedules, so they're able to plan things out, and our bodies can learn that rhythm and almost start to expect food and certain type of training or stimulus if we are more consistent. But if we're not, sometimes we have to go through a process of figuring out, for example, well, on this day, my schedule looks like this, so maybe the only time I can get in my workout is before I eat breakfast or before I have a couple meals in. And then on other days, my schedule looks like this. Maybe I have a little bit more flexibility, and so I can really pick and choose when I choose to work out. And it's also okay for that process to take some time. I'm just reflecting on my own process. Even this summer, I had the intention of getting back into my own strength training program, and I had to start with the very small goal of just doing 1 workout a week and trying to become more consistent with that. And it took a few weeks for me to even consistently hit 1 workout a week. And then the next goal was 2 workouts a week. I think sometimes in the social media environment we find ourselves in, it's very possible that we think that these changes happen really rapidly, but it's okay. It's okay if it takes time to experiment, to maybe try a meal plan, try a workout plan, really get into it and figure out how it works or does not work for you, and then course adjust as needed.
More energy when they have breakfast before working out. Some people, it feels better after, but I do always recommend, even though you work out in the morning, to always have like a little something in your stomach. Like, don't work out on an empty stomach, you guys. It's really not good for healthy or for female hormones. So have a little date with almond butter or a hard-boiled egg or a little piece of toast or something like that.
Okay, breakfast. I am a fan of sourdough toast, but not every day. I have to be in the mood for it. What about you? Do you like sourdough toast? Do you not eat bread at all? I'm kind of curious.
Okay, for the extra protein, I'm gonna use these chicken breakfast sausages. I know in Europe it's sometimes hard to find turkey bacon and chicken sausage. I feel it's just not as much in the kind of breakfast culture. But what I would recommend, you can also do smoked salmon or just have some like grilled chicken or sliced chicken that you already buy in a pre-packaged. I love these. I'm gonna make a few in a row, so I'm gonna store them in the fridge. So for the rest of the week, it'll be a little easier to make.
That is nice when you're able to batch cook a little bit and have some leftovers, depending on schedule, right? Some people don't have time to make a fresh meal every time. And so it looks like she's got eggs, sausage, avocado toast. Is that yogurt? Looks like it might be some form of yogurt.
Guys, I've obviously made this recipe before during recipe testing, and I just forgot how good it is and how amazing it looks. It's like 5-star restaurant. I feel it has all the good parts: spring onions, scrambled eggs, protein, chicken sausage protein, some greens for fiber, healthy fats, avocado, cottage cheese, sourdough bread. I toasted it with a little bit of olive oil, so it makes it really nice and crispy. But this, you guys, chef's kiss.
Avocado also has a fair amount of fiber. You may not expect that, but it's a little bit of a combination of fats and carbs. But this does look very pretty to me. I also want to highlight that it does seem like this meal plan includes animal proteins. You may or may not eat animal protein. I don't really eat animal protein, very rarely. So one way that I would, for me personally, and I'll offer it up in case you're in a similar position, I think if I were to tweak this, I would definitely keep the sourdough and the avocado and the olive oil and the greens. For my protein sources, I would probably take out the eggs and the sausage and instead put in some sort of bean or legume. So that could be kidney beans, pinto beans, chickpeas, whatever I'm feeling in that moment. I would also take off the cottage cheese and I would add a lot of vegetables. So some similarities here, but also some differences. And this is where meal plans and recipes can be very inspirational, because we could take a meal plan that maybe has a lot of the elements we want or a recipe, but then swap things out. And the more we learn about ourselves and what our body needs and our preferences, even our taste preferences, the more we can tweak things and make them very customized to us and what we like. And then there are going to be some people who just want a meal plan so they don't even have to think about it. And there can be benefits to that as well. Meal plans are simply a tool that can be used if you feel like you want to experiment with it. The little eating music. Oh, dance.
Wow, you guys. This is literally a 10 out of 10. Highly recommend toasting your sourdough with the olive oil, because it's such a game changer.
I might need to do that for my lunch today. I'm planning to have sourdough.
Okay, just finished my workouts. Before lunch, I kind of want to make a quick little protein smoothie. Vanilla dates. It's kind of like a little dessert. I love it. It is so simple and so delicious. Some almond milk, banana, 1 date. I'm gonna do some cinnamon, and then for protein, I use this one from Ritual. I love this one. I want to thank Ritual for sponsoring today's video. I have been using this for so long. It's one of the protein powders that actually does not upset my stomach. I feel a lot of protein powders can feel very uneasy and kind of get bloated, but this feels really good. It is also sugar-free, artificial flavor-free, and made with organic peas out of the United States. And I also do a lot of heavy metal testing, which I find very important for my hormones. I'm gonna link the discount code down below. They ship to the United States and also to the UK. So let's make our smoothie.
Okay. I'm intrigued now. I'm always looking for a new vegan protein powder. And it sounds like this one is. If it's pea protein, I mean, I have to double check the label. But I love to experiment with different things. I'm curious for you. Do you like smoothies? I don't really like smoothies, although this little smoothie maker is so adorable. Oh my gosh. Yeah, adorbs.
And my smoothie is done.
I just prefer to eat.
It is so good, you guys.
Rather than drink it.
Combines two of my favorite things, smoothies and my date obsession. I feel this is like such a good little snack or for a little post-workout or something. And the meal plan that I'm following, I think it's around like 1,500 calories a day. But you do need to kind of think about that. You always have like drinks come, like lattes or cappuccinos or maybe some snacks. I love doing a little smoothie as a snack and stuff, so then you should come out to like probably around 2,200 or stuff. Not that I count the calories, but I just want to mention this around the meal plan. If you're like, oh wow, this is really not a lot of food, or it's like not enough, we want to give space to like add on some like snacks and things like that. So
okay, that's a really important point there, and I'm glad she shared that up front, that it's 1,500 calories, because this is a big topic. It's a lot to unpack, but my quick version and take on this is that 1,500 calories, depending on who you are, may not be nearly enough for you. So I'm glad that she's saying that the intention is for people to have a snack or two or have a smoothie, do something in addition to this meal plan. In fact, a lot of the work that I like doing with people, in particular women, because I tend to work with women, is actually helping them build up how much they're eating, because it's just a reality that in certain cultures and in the cultures and the environments where a lot of my clients live, a lot of women do underfeed. There's a lot of pressure to eat less, to be smaller. My approach, or one of my principles, is to help clients go through their own process of experimenting and figuring out how much can they eat while still hitting their goals. Because the more that they eat, especially if it's really predominantly whole foods, very nourishing food, the more nutrients they're going to get, the easier it's going to be to show up for their workouts, show up for their life. And if that client ever wants to move into a phase where their goal or their intention is to lose weight, then their baseline calories are already higher, which gives a lot more room to make small adjustments, maybe increase output a little bit, decrease calories just a little bit. So that's just my 2 cents. It may not resonate with you, it may not work for you, and if it doesn't, that's cool too.
that's why. Anyway, this is delicious. I'm gonna sip on this. I am gonna get some work done today, and then I'll see you guys for lunch.
Lunchtime, here we go. I'm already getting hungry for my lunch.
It is lunchtime. We're gonna make some cold soba noodle salad with shrimp. This is a cook once, eat twice recipe, which basically means we're making a double portion and then putting the rest in the fridge for tomorrow, or like as a leftover meal. It's kind of a meal prep in one. Soba noodles is like one of my favorite things to eat whenever we're in Japan. Like, I love it so much. And you can kind of eat them cold or hot. I prefer cold, even in the winter. I don't know why, you just like dip it in a sauce and it's like so good. It is usually gluten-free. Just check the back of your package, because sometimes they add some like wheat noodles in there, but most of them should be gluten-free. They're also really high in fiber, and that makes it such a good base for like a salad or for like a meal prep and stuff. So let's get started. Here we got all the ingredients.
Look at all those
already meal
colors.
prepped this. We got some shrimp, edamame, some salmon, what am I saying? Ginger, and then green onions and carrots. So let's prep this all quickly.
Okay. Cold soba noodle salad. So once again, just my take on it, I don't eat animal protein really, so I take the shrimp out. I would definitely increase the edamame. That's a great source of plant protein. And depending on how I feel, I might add a little bit more protein, maybe with tofu or tempeh. That could be tasty with some soba noodles, all those carrots. Ooh, yes.
Look how good this bowl is. Edamame for protein, some carrots, soba noodles, green onions, and then on top we'll add some more herbs and stuff. But this looks amazing.
Seriously, doing these what I eat in a day videos make me so hungry. I know I've mentioned that a couple of times already, but my stomach is starting to growl. I don't think you'll be able to hear it. Oh, nice touch with the black sesame seeds.
We're gonna do a little taste test.
Very aesthetic.
I could probably add a little bit more ginger and stuff to the sauce. But also you can make so many different sauces or different veggies that you have, like add like mango or maybe like avocado would make it like really nice and creamy. Or even if you don't like shrimp, like change the protein. I feel this is like one of those meals that you can like make a lot of versions of.
Yes.
It is really, really good. I think from all noodles,
it's okay,
like
Sadie.
soba is probably
Sadie
my
Hughes.
favorite. It's also probably the
sirens.
most nutritious of all of them,
okay.
but it is so good. I feel a lot of people think that when they are going to start to eat healthy, they need to compromise on flavor, and I truly feel that if you make delicious meals and make them nourishing and colorful, I feel often color comes with a lot.
I want to comment on that, but Sadie needs a treat because if you don't know yet, Sadie's my miniature Australian Shepherd, and she often wants to make appearances in videos. She's a little triggered right now, so I'm gonna give her a treat for being a good girl and not totally exploding and barking. These are her little, I call them her little fancy treats. It's like oats, peanut butter, banana. Good girl. Okay, so I think Sanne was just talking about colorful food, and I completely agree. When our food looks good, that can help just with the whole enjoyment process around food. I kind of go between. Sometimes at home, I just am all about just get it together. I need it to be quick. I need to be able to make it in like 10-15 minutes or less because my schedule is really packed. And in that situation, I can't pay a lot of attention to how it looks. But then at least a couple times a week, I do try to slow down and be a little bit more intentional. I call them my fancy meals. If I'm feeling a little fancy, just taking extra time to cut up the vegetables, to arrange things on the plate. It actually can turn into a little bit of a meditative, soothing process. So throwing it out there in case anyone else wants to try out fancy meal time.
Lot of like flavor and stuff. Honestly, these meals are so satisfying and they're so good. Like I think even for someone who doesn't like to eat healthy would enjoy these type of meals, and it's just about like being creative with it. And I even love to switch up different cuisines. Like this is a little bit more Asian inspired. I think tonight we have steak, which is a little bit more Mediterranean, and this way you kind of keep it fun and exciting, and it doesn't feel like, oh, I like have to eat healthy or something. Like you actually have such amazing delicious meals right now. So I'm gonna eat some soba and I will see you soon.
Okay, we skipped over just a little bit of her eating as well as showing that she put her leftovers away, which is nice. Cook once, eat twice. What's for dinner?
Okay, it's steak bowl. So we're gonna keep it super simple with steak and then a lot of like veggies and stuff. Just pop it in the air fryer. So we can do it in the oven, but I got all my ingredients ready.
I definitely prefer air fryer over oven. It's speed. Yeah, it's just very convenient. Although there are some vegetables that I think do cook a little bit better in the oven. So, depends. That, again, is such an adorable little appliance.
Okay,
Ooh.
guys, I'm gonna make some steak. I completely understand.
I'm a sucker
if
for cute
making
things,
steak
cute
at
little
home
things.
feels very intimidating because sometimes if you even live in a small space, and I feel that sometimes in my apartment, like it can kind of like smell a lot, or if you just feel like don't really comfortable in the pan, I would suggest just doing ground beef or do a burger. I feel that's a really good substitution here. Obviously you can also do chicken or another protein, but that would kind of be my suggestion if you just feel not comfortable with doing the steak at home, and I get it. And it's actually so easy, which is so funny because I feel a lot of people think it is really hard. I got it out of the fridge 30 minutes ago. It kind of needs that rest period before cooking it to get kind of to room temp. And then we're gonna put a lot of salt on it.
Salt. Oh,
A chef once told me always do 40% more salt than you actually think, so quite a lot, because when you like cook it, it will really kind of disappear. So steak is done. Let's put in the pan.
I must confess, I eat so much salt. I add salt to everything, and copious amounts of it. But I only do it at the end. I don't do it in cooking, mostly because I find that it helps me try to regulate the amount I'm having. But I also eat a lot of whole foods, and what people don't sometimes think about is when you're shifting from more processed foods to whole foods, you actually might have a drop in sodium. intake because there is so much added sodium to processed foods. So when clients aren't sure, that does look pretty good. I just want to touch on this really quick because it is something I see where people shift from processed foods to whole foods, and then they're like, oh my gosh, I need more salt. And that's okay because our bodies do need sodium. And I know that there are ways of eating out there that go completely salt-free. If that's something someone wants to experiment with, that's up to them. I would say all of my clients, I don't have any clients on salt-free diets. So all of them like salt and sometimes find that they need to add a little bit more salt as they're coming down on processed foods.
Some veggies, hummus, steak, and then some potatoes and some salad with it. So delicious.
Yeah, and here I'll give my little Janessa swapsies too, and I'm curious what you would do to adjust this. For me, once again, I would take off the steak. I would really increase potatoes. I'm a big carb eater. That's not going to work for everyone. It may not work for you. If it doesn't work for you, that's cool. For me though, I really like high carb and plant-based, whole foods. So I would actually up the potatoes quite a bit, and I would also up the vegetables quite a bit for this meal. The hummus looks great though. That actually, what I just described is a common dinner for me. Potatoes, vegetables, hummus put on top. I think we're getting close to the end here. So what else is left?
Okay.
Ooh,
have a little
dessert.
sweet treat. This is date batter. It's like a chocolate covered date. These are literally my
nice.
favorite, you guys. I should probably also not eat this in the bed, but
Maybe not in the bed. Yeah.
so good. I feel I always need something sweet after every meal, but especially after dinner. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope you enjoyed the what I eat in a day. I will link the ebook down below. I hope you guys enjoyed all the recipes. Also, when you were recreating them, tag me because I always love seeing other recreations. I'll see you guys very soon.
Very nice. Thank you, Sanne. That was really nice. Yes, so what are some summary points we can take from this? Meal plans can be helpful. It's really up to what your goals are, how much time you have. Certainly if you are in a position where you don't have a lot of time to plan things out, it can be quite a nice little tool to use. In my opinion, I think long term, it is good to learn the skills needed to come up with your own meal plan, to do your own grocery list creation. But sometimes we also go through phases of life where that's a bit harder to do. So lots of considerations there around whether to use a meal plan or not use a meal plan. Also, do keep in mind what's in that meal plan may not be enough for your food amount to really fuel the life you're living. I really appreciate how Sanne gave that disclaimer that the meal plan only works out to about 1,500 calories, because I would imagine that for a lot of people that's not enough. They're going to need to supplement that meal plan with snacks or just increase the portions. That would be another approach, another strategy. Take a meal plan from someone like Sanne, but just know that you're going to do more of this kind of food at that meal and this kind of food at another meal to boost your calories for the day. So those are some points that stood out to me. I'm curious, what do you think? Do you follow Sanne? Do you like her content? If so, what do you appreciate about her approach and her style? But I think we'll wrap it up here. I gotta get Sadie out. She's getting pretty restless. So I think it's time for her to go potty, in full disclosure. But I really appreciate you being here. Please like the video if you enjoy this kind of content. If you're interested in working together, there's always information in the description of my videos where you can find my website and what would be the next step to work together. And I look forward to connecting again soon.